Hello and welcome to Essa Group. Today we're going to go over the general instructions for the new updated citizenship form N-400. The N-400 is the application for U.S. naturalization. All right, first things first, please ensure that you are using the correct version of the form N-400. The new version was just released in April of 2016, so please make sure you have the correct form. All right, the new form is 20 pages and has 18 parts. It was last revised in April 2016. It looks like this. You should see the uscis form N-400 in the corner here. And the expiration date is 03/31/2019. Okay. So please make sure, and here it is in real time, the application for naturalization. Here it is, Form N-400, expires 03/31/2019, and each page 1 of 20. I say that because the last form had 21 pages, so you want to make sure that you're using the correct form. All right. Now, before beginning the Form N-400 application, please make sure that you are eligible to become a U.S. citizen. You don't want to go through all that work and pay all that money just to find out it wasn't right, okay? Eligible means that you are qualified at this time to become a citizen, all right? A few general guidelines. You need to be at least 18 years old. You need to have been a permanent resident for the last 5 years, or married to a U.S. citizen for the past 3 years and have been a permanent resident for the last 3 years. Okay? You need to demonstrate continuous residence and physical presence in the U.S. That means that you can't have traveled too many days out of the year, or not taken trips longer, 6 months or longer at a time without special permission to come and go. Right? You should also be able to read, write, and speak basic English. They will be testing for that throughout the interview. There are a few exceptions. So there are exceptions and accommodations. So the English language exemptions usually have to do with your age and how long you've been here. Age 50 or older at the time of filing has an exemption. If you've been here for 20 years, okay, or age 55 and older and you've been here for 15 years. There's also some military exemptions and accommodations. So you can see that here under the exceptions and accommodations link, and I'll have that down below as well. All right. All right. So the full USCIS eligibility worksheet looks like this. Okay, naturalization eligibility worksheet instructions. It's a very easy to follow eligibility worksheet. You can see it says I am at least 18 years old, true, not true. I am a permanent resident, true, not true. And you go through basically you go through the flow chart. All right, very easy. Okay. All right. You want to type or print clearly. If you print, use black ink. All caps is preferred on the application. You want to type very neatly or write very neatly and clearly so everything is very easy to read. If extra space is needed at any point to answer a question, you need to attach additional sheets of paper. And on each additional sheet of paper, you should write your name, your alien registration number, the date, the application page number, part number, and item number. Very important, so they know exactly what you're referring to, and your signature. Okay, so for each additional page, you want to have those things on there. Right. Answer all questions. If you're going through the application and something is not applicable to you, just put in NA. If the answer is none, put in NA. That shows that you've read the question. If you just leave things blank, they might think that you skipped it or didn't see it. So it's better to just go ahead and put NA so they know that you saw it and that you've checked it off, right? You must complete sections 1 through 15. Do not complete sections 16, 17, and 18, but send in those pages of the application, right? You will complete 16, 17, and 18, those sections at your interview. Okay. Avoid highlighting, crossing out, writing outside the area provided for a response. When things get too messy and there's lots of crossouts, they can't read it, and it makes things more complicated. So if you have to make a lot of corrections, just go ahead and print out a new form and rewrite it. That's the best thing. Okay. Provide your A number on the top right corner of each page. And your A number is located on your permanent resident card. Your A number should have 7 to 9 numbers, and not everyone. There's a few people, depending on when you've come, that if you don't have an A number, that's okay too. So, but if you have an A number, most people do. It's 7 to 9 numbers. You want to fill all those squares in the application. And if it's only 7 numbers, you can see here at the top of the form, this is on every page, enter your A number. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But if yours is only 7 numbers, put 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or if it's only 8 numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So you want to, don't leave any of those blank there. Want to fill them in. And the A number you can see is on every page of your application. All right. Let's see. Your application must be properly completed and signed. A photocopy of the application is fine as long as you have the handwritten signature. Okay, if you can't stamp it or type your name or sign it and then photocopy it, they won't accept it. So it's not acceptable. You have to have your original signature on that application. Okay, please make sure. Your application must be accompanied by the appropriate filing fee. So as of today, August 1st, 2016, the current filing fees are $680. So the fee for filing your naturalization application is $595. And then the biometric services fee, which is your fingerprints, is $85. Okay, so you want to make a check or money order on a U.S. bank payable to the Department of Homeland Security. Don't put any initials, don't put DHS or anything like that, and don't send cash. Okay. You may use a credit card, but there's a different form for that you'd have to send in. I'll put a link to that down below. And also, let's see, so if you're applying based on your own service in the military, again, there's different requirements for military. I'll put that link down below. So you want to make sure if you're part of the military, you follow those instructions, okay? And then there's no filing fee required, certain things like that. If you're over 75 years or older, and you're filing on the basis of service in the armed forces, you don't have to send biometric services fees as well, okay? So you want to check that service fee so you're sending in the right amount of money. All right, there's also fee waiver guidance based on your employment. So you may file a fee waiver based on your inability to pay, and that's Form I-912, and you would send that form in with your application. Okay, don't send it in by itself, send it in with your application. Right? You may file early. You may file Form 9 N-400 90 days, 90 calendar days before you complete your permanent resident requirements. Okay, and let's see, there's a USCIS early filing calculator. Here it is, it looks like this. If you go here to the early filing calculator, you can click here. and say my anniversary date is going to be the end of the year. Say it's going to be 12/31, 2016. I calculate the earliest I can file the N-400. You can see it would be October 2nd, 2016, 10/2/2016. So you definitely do not want to file before that early filing date, because you may lose your money. Your application, even by one day, may get denied. Pay special attention to that. Evidence. You must submit all required initial evidence along with all of the supporting documentation with your application at the time of filing. So anything that that is required, there is actually, I have a video about all the documentation that you need to send in. And there's also the document checklist. I'll have a link to that below. And you can see exactly what you need to send in with your N-400. Okay? And then, so everyone needs to send in these top things, and then you need to send in copies of the following documents as they pertain to you. Okay? So if you had a divorce, you might need to send in your divorce paper, your divorce certificate, things like that, okay, or a death certificate, things like that. So you're going to go over that document checklist really carefully, and like I said, I also have a video on that document checklist specifically. Right? All right, the biometric services appointment, your fingerprints appointment. After you file your application, the USCIS will schedule your biometric services appointment at a local application support center, and you're going to need to provide your fingerprints, photograph, and your signature there. It will tell you the date, time, and location of your appointment, so you really pay attention to that. Failure to attend that appointment may result in the denial of your application, so be very careful. A lot of people travel after they send in their form, after they send in their N-400, and then they don't get this appointment and they miss it, and then that becomes a problem. So if you have to travel after you send in your application, have someone check your mail. Make sure you don't miss that appointment. All right, copies. Unless it is specifically required that an original document be filed with your application, please send in a legible photocopy. Okay? Original documents submitted when not required, you may not get them back. They will not necessarily be automatically returned to you. They may be destroyed. So be very careful. If they don't ask for an original, send in a copy, please. Translations. This is important too. Any document submitted with information in a foreign language, so your marriage certificate or anything like that that is in a foreign language, needs to be translated, and the translator must certify that the English language translation is complete and accurate, and that he or she is competent to translate from the foreign language to English. Okay. Links below will include lots of things, okay? I will do the full USCIS eligibility requirement worksheet, okay? And another one about who is eligible for naturalization, because that's really big. And that chapter 4, who is eligible for naturalization, goes into many more specifics. So you really want to make sure you're eligible before you do all this and send in the money, all right? There'll be the link for the military personnel and family members. There'll be the exemptions and accommodations link, okay? Frequently asked questions, the full guide to naturalization, if you want to look that over, the N-400 application, the N-400 application link, all right, and how to request a fee waiver. I'll put that down below as well. All right, resources. If you have more questions besides asking here at Essa Group, you could call the National Customer Service Center line. You can request an appointment from InfoPass there. And for legal advice, you can find help in your community. especially they have a lot of pro bono legal help, because someone like volunteer organizations can't actually give legal advice, so we're not able to do that. So you do have to go to legal, an attorney, an immigration attorney, but there's lots of places that do pro bono work. Okay. All right, so this concludes the general instructions on completing the Form N-400. And the next few videos, we're going to go through the N-400 application form step by step. We'll go through all 18 parts. Okay, thank you so much, and good luck to everybody.